Mark Ingram had it. I didn't even know where the ball was. I mean, that tells you how hard it is to defend that Ravens offense.
It speaks for a lot of people who try and defend Lamar Jackson. I give John Harbaugh and the Ravens coaching staff credit for adjusting when he was drafted to him and moving forward to play to his skill set.
Supposedly Greg Roman went into the offices this past offseason and just rebuilt the entire offense around the skill set that Lamar Jackson has, paying huge dividends right now for the Baltimore Ravens.
The offensive coordinator of the Ravens, Greg Roman, who's been mentioned as a head coaching candidate. Ryan completes and then out of bounds. So let's see, they're going to rule that incomplete. Couldn't hold it. Let's get a game break with Carissa.
Thanks, Chris. Niners up 35-33, looking to add to their lead here. Jimmy Garoppolo buys time. We'll find Kendrick Bourne for the 6-yard score. Niners leading 42-33.
All right, thank you, but not over yet with Drew Brees. 75 total points in that game, and there's still, what, 6.5 minutes left in New Orleans.
But what a great bounce back by the Niners. I mean, you go up and you play a tough game against the Ravens at their stadium. Bad weather conditions, physical game, low scoring that time, and then you come back and you have to go to New Orleans and you get caught in a shootout, and they've just performed extremely well against a tough Saints defense.
Matt Ryan wants a timeout on 3rd down and 3. Well, the Falcons, we were talking about it with this kind of, everybody has injuries, this kind of skill set, especially on offense. I know Julio Jones missed a game, Devontae Freeman missed a couple, but I mean, this is the kind of team, when you look at their record, you say, how did this happen? Especially when you see the Falcons play this well today, regardless of the opponent.
Yeah, it's got to be frustrating for their fan base. I think the biggest thing that you pointed out is the star power that they have on this team still with Matt Ryan and Julio Jones. Calvin Ridley, I mean, that's a tough combination on the outside. Hey, we're going to try and take away the passing game. Oh, yeah, we've got Devontae Freeman as well. So what's going on with this team? I think one of the big things is the defense is not where Dan Quinn wants it to be, and they've got to get that shored up. I really think Keanu Neal, losing him early, when you've got a guy who's physical and sets the tone for your defense or your offense is the physical guy, and you lose him, you lose that edge a little bit. And I just don't know if this team has ever responded back after losing their physical edge when Keanu Neal went on injured reserve.
Brian Hill with another carry for a 1st down, and frustration from Luke Kuechly as the Falcons just want to run the clock out and get out of here with their 4th win. Panthers on their way to their 5th straight loss. Yeah, with Atlanta, Dan Quinn has changed coordinators both offensively and defensively. You used to call the defense a couple of different things over the last few years. Some hit Kyle Shanahan here, some moving on for job opportunities, him making a decision to find the right mix for the players he has. As Matt Ryan told you, you look at who you are each week and you have to adjust to that group of players, whether it's on offense or defense. On 1st and 10, Hill is tackled right away back at the 30, Laura.
The timeliness of Ron Rivera was not lost on Dan Quinn. I talked to him about the difficulty of talking about your job security while you're doing your job, and he said, I've always honored that I'm one of 32. I carry that weight with sincerity and honesty because it's important for me to do right for Arthur. I don't know if it's any heavier now than before because I've always felt it. As much as I can, I try not to let myself go into the future because to do that would only take away from winning this week. It's not easy to do, but he said, I already carried how important this role is, always have.
And his team playing well today, Laura. Arthur Blank looking on as Hill carries. And what a run from Brian Hill. All the way inside the 5. It'll be 1st and goal Falcons.
They just get numbers out here, but watch this guy. He's coming all the way to the other side. They get everybody washed down to the right. And look at Jake Matthews hustling downfield to get a block on Trey Boston. I mean, that's outstanding.
Best rushing game of Hill's career was at Carolina. He ran for 115 yards. He had a 60-yard run in that game. And checking on Kyle Love of the Panthers, trying to catch his breath.
And that's just, that's attrition at that position. I mean, that's the Don Terry Poe position. That's the K'Wan Short position. Now Kyle Love, and they haven't been able to get that big body, that physical guy down on the nose, to be able to stay healthy during the course of the season. And Kyle Love, I think something happened with the blocking scheme. You can see him there. He's talking to Clete Blakeman, the official today. You wonder what that conversation's about. But he got up from the field and went right to Clete Blakeman, our referee today.
Well, top pick Chris Lindstrom, 14th overall selection at right guard out of Boston College, who they lost him to start the season. They wanted him to be an anchor for the offensive line, given his ability to kind of grow into that position. I know it's something that Matt Ryan mentioned, and having him in the game today certainly helped. Over 150 rush yards. Second most total yards for Atlanta this season at 456. Let's get another game break. And Carissa, what's going on?
Well, Chris, the Saints are down by 9, looking to get back in it. Drew Brees finds Michael Thomas, 21-yard touchdown. Brees' fourth of the day. Niners still lead 42-40. Time permitting, we will get your audience after this game. Chris?
All right, and we look forward to that. It looks like they have a whole quarter left. 82, much like a tote board at a charity. All the points, rolling off as we look at the NFC playoff picture. And again, the teams that need to win, those in the playoff, the Packers, the Vikings, Seahawks will play the Rams later. 49ers with the advantage for the moment, but it's only a 2-point edge over the Saints in New Orleans, and do want to get out to that game when they wrap up here. Brian Hill has a touchdown run and touchdown catch this season. And Brian Hill to the goal line. Ball comes out. They're ruling it a touchdown. And they will review it, but it is ruled a score.
Ruling in the field is that the runner had possession of the ball, has crossed the line before he lost possession. It is a touchdown.
There you go, right there.
That's good.
Good balance with the hand, breaks the plane.
Yeah, at one hand, he leveled to the ground without anything touching, and he lunged forward. Once it came out, it didn't matter. Any part of the ball, touching any part of that, or crossing any part of where that goal line is. It's a Brian Hill touchdown, second of this season, and it has been confirmed. The Falcons will play at San Francisco. We've been updating that 49ers Saints game, and the extra point is good. Koo has had a big day. So 40 points up for Atlanta, and out at San Francisco next Sunday. They'll get a strong test against those 49ers. On Fox, Aaron Rodgers and the Packers in that NFC North battle. They take on the Bears, and in America's game of the week, the Rams and Cowboys. Rams in a wild card hunt. Dallas still a shot at the NFC East with the Eagles. And of course the Falcons and 49ers. You'll see that. These are the numbers and milestones hit for Matt Ryan and Julio Jones. And Freeman gets his first touchdown of this season on the ground. And Zaccheaus, his first career catch. It's one we'll all remember. 93 yards for a touchdown.
If you're going to do it the right way. Olamide Zaccheaus, 93 yards for your first touchdown. That's outstanding. I mean, you've got explosive plays. You've got, consistency at quarterback. You can see that through the 50,000-plus yards throughout Matt Ryan's career. Devontae Freeman and Brian Hill, a nice little 1-2 punch they've developed here in the running game, and they've been able to use that today against Carolina.
Season-high points and also season-high rush yards for Atlanta. 157 yards on the ground. Touchback and out to the 25. And for the Panthers, mistakes, turnovers, the Falcons have been there to take advantage.
Yeah, and here's an opportunity for a big play early in the game, and Ian Thomas can't bring it in, and DeMonte KZ makes the interception. A poor job in protection by Dennis Daly there, doesn't get the ball back. And, we talked about Olamide Zaccheaus' 93-yard touchdown run. That was the kickoff right after that. So you go 93-yard touchdown run, the fumbled kickoff return, and then you start pressing and doing things that are outside your comfort zone, and another interception there by Kyle Allen.
Also 5 sacks. Came in giving up some of the most in the NFL. Jarius Wright. Well, Perry Fewell, who was brought, and he told us, look, when they asked me to take over on this interim base, I wanted to talk to Ron and ownership about it. You work with players here in Carolina, but I didn't want to be disloyal to the man who brought me here, referencing Ron Rivera. And he called himself an old school Tom Coughlin kind of guy. He spent some time with the Giants as an assistant to Perry Fewell as Kyle Allen runs out of bounds. But as he told the team, we got a job to do and finish out the season and see where it goes.
And how classy is Ron Rivera? You know, a lot of coaches in that situation, you go into your office, you pack your bags, your boxes, take everything out, and you're on your way. But Ron Rivera circled back and sat down with Perry Fewell and went over the schedule that he had put in place for this week, went over the schedule that he had put in place through the end of the year. Any questions I can answer for you before we transition here? And that's just the last classy thing that Ron Rivera did for this Carolina Panthers franchise.
And DJ Moore with another catch, crosses midfield. He's had a big game. Kyle Allen over 230 yards through the air. Well, the quarterback issue is one that Carolina will have to think about with foot surgery scheduled for Cam Newton later this week. You draft Will Grier, third round from West Virginia. You got to look at Kyle Allen as Ian Thomas makes another catch. And when you look at the former MVP and three-time Pro Bowler who led the team to a Super Bowl and now in his 9th season, I think the question would be too is physically the wear and tear on a guy who's leaned on his body quite a bit. Where is that before you make a long-term decision?
Yeah, because it's been 2 years now. You know, last season it was the shoulder that wore down and broke down during the course of the season in the second half of the year, and then this year now it's a Liz Frank, and they're saying that the surgery is going to be successful. It's a tightening of that joint more than it is anything severe when you hear that Liz Frank injury. But again, that's another big decision for this franchise. And we've seen what has happened in Arizona when you bring in Cliff Kingsbury and then you draft Kyler Murray. You bring the head coach and the future quarterback in together. So is that something that the Carolina Panthers are going to want to do, or are they going to want to try and give Cam Newton one more shot with his final year of his contract?
May depend, Daryl, on who the next head coach and or general manager. I know Marty Herney is part of the organization. David Tepper, the owner, has referenced that at least for now he's going to be involved in the process as Isaiah Oliver, the injured Falcon, is taken to the injury tent. And on 2nd and 2, Kyle Allen almost intercepted, but a good defensive play by Curtis Samuel. Looks like we have a flag back at midfield. And they're discussing it.
Holding. Offense. Number 65. 10-yard penalty. Replay second down.
So of the coaching candidates out there, Daryl, and we live in a world more and more of analytics, and I cover Major League Baseball quite a bit. I think it's much more useful. Well, it's useful in everything. We use statistics and then we make decisions, but baseball is more a one-on-one situation, as there is David Tepper, who the billions he's worth from the hedge fund industry, he's obviously made the right calls in business. You know, how much do you lean on analytics in today's NFL? And then what is experience and a gut decision for a coach and or a staff as McCaffrey pulls that in?
Well, I'm kind of agreeing with you on this one, Chris. I think that there's a place for analytics in the game of football, but I believe football is head and heart, and it's things that you really can't put analytics into. And sometimes I think statistics, we can make them say whatever we want to make them say. And I think a lot of it comes down to that mixture. You can use it as a guide, but at some point you just got to trust your gut. Whether you've been there before, the way the game is going, every game is different week in and week out. And you can't just take a set of numbers and think that this are going to be standardized for 17 weeks of an NFL regular season into the playoffs. Every Sunday it's going to be a little bit different. So how do you use analytics to help you as a decision maker?
McCaffrey underneath again. He'll fight hard. Boy, fighting to the finish. You have to respect that, to the 30. And yes, there are individual matchups on a field during an NFL game, but baseball, it's the pitcher, the hitter, it's one-on-one. Here you've got 11 against 11. So statistics will tell you one thing, but the mental makeup and the physical attributes of each individual grouped as one big clump of 11, that's tough to break down.
Yeah, and what have the Carolina Panthers found out about their run defense this year as they've struggled with the explosive run? It only takes one player of those 11 to be out of position to create an explosive play. What analytic is going to prevent that? What analytic is going to help you there? So, yeah, I think that we've seen it become a term that is talked about, used a lot by franchises around the NFL, but it has to work for your staff. It has to work for your organization and the way you do it. I think the draft maybe I think there's an excellent opportunity there for analytics to help you as you trade draft picks, as you try to move up and around. What is the value of that pick? What are we losing? What are we gaining? I think analytics can help you there set those values.
I think that the Panthers, I mean, both of these teams have talent, strengths in different areas. The Carolina defense, and then on offense, McCaffrey. This is 3rd and 2, and Allen can run for it, and he gets it down around the 26-yard line of Atlanta. So you have some building blocks. I don't know that these teams are that far away. You tell me. You've done some, aside from your playing days and broadcast work, you've worked in some front offices with different leagues and personnel. There's parts here. It's not like you have to scrap everything and go to the ground floor.
No, I'm a big trench guy, though. I think both teams need to get better, along the offensive and defensive lines. The games are won and lost. You hear a lot of people say that this is a big man's league. And there's a lot of explosive wide receivers and running backs coming out of the collegiate game, and you can find those guys. But those really good linemen, a Zach Martin, kind of changed what Dallas was doing offensively. The Nelson kid in Indianapolis kind of shifted their dynamic. These great offensive linemen, these great defensive linemen. So I think both of these teams could get better there as you're trying to control the line of scrimmage.
Brandon Zylstra with the catch from Kyle Allen. We've hit the 2-minute warning. Some big plays from the Falcons have separated them from the Panthers. They lead it 40-13.
We made USAA Bank for members like Cassie. She's made of nerves of steel. So when she has to perform one of the most dangerous jobs on the ship, she says, no problem. She's practical and always gets the most bang for her buck. So when another bank tried to charge her monthly service fees, Cassie said,
no way.
We made USAA Bank to help Cassie keep more of her money with no monthly service fees or minimum balance requirements. USAA. What you're made of, we're made for.
I gotta get out of here. Which way? I don't know. What am I looking for? Something I can't see. I can feel it. It's magic. Sauvage. Le Parfum. Dior. Experience the world's finest fragrance collection at Macy's The Fragrance Destination.
Introducing Google Pixel 4.
I got that sunshine in my pocket, got that fire like a rocket. Say the word, you know I'm ready to go. I want it, want it, I want it, want it. I got it.
So you bought those good enough paper towels. Not such a bargain. There's only one quicker picker-upper. Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
Hey, come help your old man with the dishes. Stella?
Anytime I call,
Did I ever tell you this story of your Uncle John and I before it's about
I try to bring my heart, but home is where it's at.
We stuffed the garlic knot, then stuffed it on our delicious hand-tossed pizza. The stuffed garlic knots pizza from Pizza Hut. Order your mighty large pizza lined with 16 cheese-filled knots before they're gone. You can't have football without the Hut.
The Moody's Christmas is laugh out loud.
Are you wearing the hat? No, I'm wearing the hat because I'm the captain of Carolyn.
The holiday event series continues tomorrow on Fox.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Macy's.
Here in Atlanta, Daryl Johnston, Chris Myers, Laura Oakman, and time permitting, we will get you out to that game. 49ers lead 45-40 over the Saints. Just over 2 minutes to play. Kyle Allen, McCaffrey with another stiff arm inside the 10-yard line. The pieces, he's somebody you can build around on offense, and then of course there's some defensive parts too, but running and catching and his reliability, his toughness.
Yeah, and DJ Moore's been on a pretty nice run here over the last 4 or 5 games, and he's grown up, and Curtis Samuel will find his way here as he transitions from being, kind of a running back, moving to a wide receiver at Ohio State. Before he comes up here, that will happen. Ian Thomas.
McCaffrey to the goal line. He's just short as the clock continues to run.
But again, that all-important position that you mentioned, the quarterback. What is the decision at the quarterback position moving forward for Carolina?
Kyle Allen keeps it into the end zone. Are they going to call this a touchdown? Yes, they are. He worked his way through the pile for his second rushing touchdown of this season.
The one bright spot today, right, Chris? Inside the 1-yard line. They're 2 for 2. today. An area that really has cost them. I mean, there's 4 winnable games that they've had during the course of the season.
Get a tough yard. That's what the coach was
just get
telling
that tough yard. And they haven't been able to do it, earlier in the year.
Well, the Falcon defense made them work for it. The extra point will make it a 40-20 game. And Sly nails it. A 75-yard drive over 3.5 minutes before Allen got in. And Carissa has a game break.
Back to New Orleans we go, Chris. Niners up 42-41. Robbie Gould adds a 41-yard field goal to give the 49ers a 45-40 lead. We'll take you there when your game is finished. Chris?
All right, time permitting, of course.
And how about how healthy they're getting? We've had them earlier in the year, and they were banged up. Robbie Gould was out. George Kittle was out.
Matt Breida, their leading rusher.
Their starting tackles were out.
They lost players on defense through the secondary. They had to shuffle them. They lost Quan Alexander, who was a key linebacker leader for that team that Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch have built.
They've done a heck of a job.
His former offensive coordinator here in Atlanta, Kyle Shanahan, and that seems to be a trend. Sean McVay assistants getting jobs. Now Kyle Shanahan assistants are getting a lot of attention in terms of the next hiring of head coaches. Try an onside kick. Flags everywhere. And recovered by Atlanta before going out of bounds. We'll check the penalty.
Don't be offsides. Don't be offsides. It's the last thing that's said before an onside kick.
Well, the Falcons have had a pretty good run at onside kicks this year. Not that they want to be doing that a lot, but they've tried 7 and been good on 2. Had 2 recoveries. Had another one called off on a penalty. But the rate overall, recovery rate, is better than it has been in the league. It's at 25% coming into the weekend.
I credit these kickers. They go out and work at this. You don't, like you said, you don't want to have to be in the position to use it. But some of these kickers can do some amazing things with the football.
Illegal formation on the kicking team. A 5-yard penalty added to the dead ball spot. First down, Atlanta.
All right, Matt Schaub is coming in to finish up as Matt Ryan, 313 yards, 2 touchdowns. Again, another 300-yard passing game. His 9th this season. And again, since 2016, he has had the most 300-yard passing games of any quarterback. And he's worked the ball around, including Olamide Zaccheaus' first career catch, that 93-yard touchdown grab. See Mike Mularkey, part of that coaching staff, talking to Matt Ryan, former head coach. So with only 2 timeouts for the Panthers, positioning to run the clock out is Matt Schaub, who got a start earlier this year. This is a 4th year, 2nd stint with the Falcons, coming in to give Ryan a break. Ryan had that injured ankle. And boy, Schaub came in and did a nice job in that game. Quadri Allison carries. We mentioned that the Falcons will go on to Atlanta next. Then they have the Jacksonville Jags at home, and they finish at Tampa Bay.
The Falcons are going where?
At San Francisco. Well, Santa Clara to San Francisco. San Jose, technically.
It's always going to be San Francisco.
It's in the Bay Area.
You did one of mine. You had one of your Freudian slips.
They're going to host
the Falcons. Are going to Atlanta.
Oh, okay. From Atlanta.
The Dolphins are going to Miami, as I said.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know I said that. I just wanted to mention, time permitting, though, we'll get to that Saints-49ers game as they run the clock out here. Yes, I'm sorry. Atlanta will go out to San Francisco next Sunday. Then they play the Jags at Tampa Bay. And Carolina, they host the Seahawks next. Seahawks playing the Rams on Sunday Night Football. And then at Indy, and they finish with the Saints. But for Dan Quinn and the Falcons, in this final quarter of the season, a good way to start as they put up 40 and sweep the Panthers in the division. Their head-to-head play, a 40-20 final, as Matt Ryan wishes Kyle Allen good luck. For Laura Oakman, Daryl Johnston, Chris Myers, our entire crew, stick around. Bonus coverage, Kevin Burkhardt in New Orleans.
2nd and 5, another blitz, breeze, it is almost Pass intercepted. It should have been picked by Witherspoon, but he couldn't hang on.
There's a lot that went on in front of Witherspoon. He's got to concentrate on Michael Thomas, the best in the game. When he falls, all of a sudden the ball's right on top of him. Unable to haul it in, and boy, that would have been it for the 49ers and the Saints. Thomas just inadvertently falls, and the ball surprises Witherspoon a little bit. And Jimmy Ward, give him a little love, a little dap after that near interception.
Robert Saleh has gotten so aggressive, blitzing a lot on this drive. 3rd and 5. Breeze. Back. Time. Throws. Incomplete. And that was a penalty flag. Traquan Smith, the intended receiver.
Pass interference. Defense, number 41. The ball he placed the spot of the foul. Automatic. First down.
As Traquan Smith reversed direction, Mosley came over to defend him and got just a little bit handsy with him. And Kevin Cody, the down judge, detected it and threw the flag. Those are the calls that many people say, can you just let that go? No, you can't let it go because you don't know if he can actually go make the play or not.
So no Richard Sherman, no K'Wan Williams. Dukoski Cart did not play coming into this game, and Drew Brees trying to attack this secondary. 1st and 10. Has time, throwing over the middle. Caught. Smith breaks the tackle at the 10. Still going. Touchdown, New Orleans. Drew Brees has done it again.
And I look back at my notes from earlier this year where Drew Brees told us Traquan Smith struggled all year with an ankle injury, but he couldn't wait to get him 100% healthy and going because in Drew Brees' words, I trust him. We saw that trust pay off right there.
So there's a lot at play here. 2-point conversion is huge because it would mean that the 49ers can't win it on a field goal. 49ers do have 3 timeouts. A lot of time for them. First, the 2-point conversion.
And remember the penalty that went against Mosley? It would have been 4th down.
They line up Kamara in the backfield. On the fake, Brees throws incomplete, not even close, as he was backpedaling away from pressure. And that's a big stop because now a field goal can win it with 3 timeouts. Here's the touchdown.
Watch Traquan Smith from a tight alignment, and he comes underneath, runs a shallow cross, runs away from Fred Warner, who can't get him down. Then Witherspoon misses on a nice move by Traquan Smith. It's been a frustrating year for that young man out of UCF. They thought he was going to ascend after trying to break out. Came into this game with only 9 catches on the season and a number of ankle ailments. Just can't quite get right, but he sure looked right on that play. Traquan Smith puts the Saints in the lead.
The Drew Brees does it again, marching New Orleans down the field. Think about the 49ers, Charles. They have been great all year. They have dismantled some really great teams, but their losses in overtime to Seattle. They lost at the buzzer to the Ravens last week. And now they go down by 1 with 53 seconds left. However, we've been talking all game about that young man, his signature moment. Could this be it?
This could be it. A field goal would be the signature moment to guide his team in this situation. As we just saw Drew Brees on back-to-back drives put his team in a position to win.
And so they'll start on the own 25-yard line, and all eyes on Jimmy Garoppolo. Certainly the veteran kicker Robbie Gould, who has been excellent in his career, but keep in mind his long field goal this year is 47. That's it, which means they'd have to get down to about the New Orleans 30-yard line.
Just back his 2nd game from a quad injury.
Here's Garoppolo over the middle. He's got his tight end Kittle, and he's going to pick up 8. on first down, and should be a timeout by the 49ers, I would think. And it is. They've got 2 more to go. Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen, Charles, the last 45 seconds of the game, but this is, when you talk about maybe the #1 seed in the league, I mean, this is everything. This game has been something.
It has been something. We've talked about the play callers, but somehow, even though the score is high, it's gone to the defensive side.
Right.
Robert Saleh was very aggressive on the last possession, still got beat. New Orleans goes ahead with Drew Brees carving them up. Now they've got to guard the field goal line. That's what it is for New Orleans. You got to guard the 35 on your own end aggressively and make it at least a 52-yard attempt.
Second down. Garoppolo dumps it over the middle, incomplete. And so a 3rd and 2 with 42 seconds left.
#1 cover guard Marshawn Lattimore draped himself on Emmanuel Sanders. And I don't mean to have that sound like a penalty. That's just excellent coverage. Yeah, getting inside the attempted pick route there. Good job by Lattimore recognizing and putting himself in position to make the play on the ball.
They are realistically 30 yards away for a field goal try. 3rd and 2, blitz coming. Garoppolo sees, fires incomplete. Trying to get it to Kittle, but Marshawn Lattimore on him, and it's a 4th down. Actually, I think that was Gardner Johnston. 22, not 32. 4th and 2, game on the line. Play clock at 3. Garoppolo, and this play will not count. I think San Francisco used a timeout there. They didn't want to get the delay.
Second.
What was interesting is watching him try to get lined up, and it turned out that the rookie Deebo Samuel knew the proper alignment and had to get Kendrick Bourne into it. And that took the additional time and led to the timeout.
Well, you don't want to use a timeout, but if you don't, the game's over, so you had to there. And we'll do it again. 4th and 2. Garoppolo fires. It is caught, still on his feet is Kittle with a big play and the stiff arm. George Kittle, flags flying. He's down to the 30. What a run by George Kittle, taking on everybody, but the penalty is huge. There are multiple flags. It would be a 39-yarder on 4th and 2.
Thinking face mask here. And there it is, Marcus Williams grabbing Kittle's mask, and he refuses to go down despite that. And look at how he's protecting the football.
Personal foul, face mask, defense, number 43. That 15-yard penalty will be enforced from the end of the run, half the distance to the goal. Correction, automatic, 1st down.
Look at the fight between the two of them. The mask is held the entire way by Marcus Williams, and Kittle refuses to go down and still finds a way to take care of the football. Remember, I was talking before, Kevin, on the previous drive. Tackling in the secondary is huge. Being able to put them down on the spot. They didn't do that with Kittle. It turns into now a spot where San Francisco is well positioned to kick the game-winning field goal.
George Kittle, 39 yards on 4th and 2, and the 49ers are in field goal range. They can milk the clock down to the final seconds and send Robbie Gould on and try and win it. Mostert will get it. Raheem Mostert. And now they will get a timeout on the field. New Orleans calls it, so they'll make San Francisco at least run one more play. You have to go back and look at this play by Kittle, and Garoppolo putting the throw right there, too.
But watch where it starts. You have to be able to get a guy down in the open field, and what is George Kittle known for? Yards after catch. And when that tackle is not made by C.J. Gardner-Johnson in open field, Marcus Williams tries to get it done, adds the face mask to it. But look at all the additional yardage Kittle gets after the initial contact by Williams. Even with the face mask, he's eating up ground and yardage, and put San Francisco in a position to have a chance to win this one.
And that was an all-pro play.
Did you see his signature? No fear at the end of it.
So now the 49ers will just take a knee and run it down to the final seconds. They'll call a timeout and send out their veteran kicker, Robbie Gould, to try and win it. An absolute thriller today in New Orleans. And it comes down to Gould in his 15th year. This will be, depending on the spot, a 30-yard field goal. John Lynch, the general manager, has done some job turning this organization around, along with Kyle Shanahan. And now this would be the signature win of the year for this team.
And if it goes through the posts, it becomes, as you've noted, the signature drive for Jimmy Garoppolo.
Nelson to snap it. Mitch Wishnowsky to hold it. Robbie Gould to win it. Snap is high. The kick is up, and it is good! What a win for the 49ers! On 4th and 2, with potentially the #1 seed on the line, Jimmy Garoppolo and George Kittle delivered. What a game. Robbie Gould delivers in the clutch moment from 30 yards out. High snap, and Wishnowsky got it down. And Gould did the rest. And it's going to be quite the flight home for the 49ers. A heartbreaking loss at the buzzer last week, and an unreal win this week as John Lynch fired up. San Francisco goes to 11-2 and now controls their own destiny for the top seed of the NFC. Yeah, it's been that kind of game, but Kittle made the play with everything on the line. Kurt Menefee and the postgame show comes your way when we return. The 49ers in thrilling fashion,